episode 3 of the remake of Fist of the North Star. What did we think about it? The first thing that caught my attention in this episode is when Kenshiro is getting rid of some dude, from behind, like an assassin. And Bato comments that. And Kenshiro says that the Hokuto Shinken is essentially an assassination martial art, and so it's especially efficient in the dark. This is an explicit indication to the fact that the Hokuto Shinken is the martial art of chaos that we didn't get in the classic series. I quite like that. Especially the sequel is pretty good because then Bato likes that. He says, "Oh, that's cool. That would be cool. That would be cool. That would be good for, if you're a thief or something. Like these, let's say, silent techniques. You appear in the dark and from behind the enemy." So Bato likes that as this sort of future bandit, as we talked about it in the analysis of the classic series. So that sequence was pretty good, and then the main fight that we have in this episode, of course, is, I'd say, Kenshiro against Club. I thought the animation was honestly pretty good, and the fight was pretty cool, mostly, or all of it actually. It was, I quite felt it. Now I'm doing it again. I'm sorry, but when Kenshiro tells him that he's dead in a minute, it didn't last a minute. I mean, just do it 2 minutes. I don't know, just adapt it. Or anyway, I'm sorry, it didn't last a minute. But now we get the main problem of this episode, because I know that's why you're watching this. What was the main problem? When Kenshiro was terrifying, by the way, so really you see chaos against chaos. You answer my question if you don't want to die, and he seems pretty brutal. That was pretty cool, until Kenshiro asks him who's the king. And Club answers, and what martial art he practices. And Club answers that he doesn't know, and that no one knows, because he's a mysterious, basically hidden dude in his castle, whatever that is. Unfortunately, we have confirmation for a suspicion that I had in the previous episode, which is that there are some wrong symbols that are used for Shin. Remember when we talked about the fact that he's naked? We said that that's rather chaos. I'm not going to repeat those. He's hidden. He's in darkness. People don't know about him. Well, isn't that, apparently, I didn't get this, by the way, but isn't that what the narrator says concerning the Hokuto Shinken in the beginning of each episode of this remake? This hidden martial art in the darkness, chaos. And by the way, Club, which is, well, I guess his second closest man, Shin's second closest man, doesn't know, but the first knows. You know what I'm talking about, the next episode, right? And how the hell do you even become a king? And those very strong men, including Hart and the two previous ones, right? Like they're under Shin's orders because they recognize that he's powerful. By the way, in the next episode, we see the past, in which, so we're going to get, of course, a reaction also to the next episode. But since I'm talking about this precise thing about the fact that Shin and his martial art can't be secret, let's say, or hidden, like in darkness, like he's a mysterious man. Oh yeah, who are all of those dudes in the past when, the past when Shin tortures Kenshiro and captures Yuria? Who are all of those dudes? Like, they're all people who are stronger than Club and who are more loyal to Shin, and like, did they all die? I don't think it's a secret. And by the way, when you know the whole lore of Fist of the North Star, so the Nanto Seiken is, so it represents order. It's the martial art with 808 schools. It's no secret. And the 6 major stars were protecting the Emperor. And the Hokuto Shinken was staying hidden in case there'd be disarray in the Nanto. to come and let's say fight chaos with chaos, because 𝚿𝚎 is in disarray. It means order has disappeared. 𝚿𝚎 is order. 𝚿𝚎 is good, essentially, in a sense, but anyway. So, it's like, Shin is hidden? Mysterious? So, I thought maybe it, I was exaggerating the problem of Shin being naked, but no, like, this is number 2. It's like, we have some problems. I didn't quite like this. And so, not much happened, let's say, in this episode. So, this is the 3rd episode, and the first 2 were released at the same time. And I said that there are general things that I saw already in the first 2 episodes. I said that in the first episode, right? And that I would like to make independent videos about these. Well, I want to talk about those now, but more briefly, of course, so I may still make videos about these. Essentially, the visual aspect and the music. I don't really talk about these, so I may make videos, but I'm briefly going to talk about these 2. But first, there's a last thing I want to say about this episode, which is actually a detail that I skipped in episode 1. And if only I said this, because it would have been some sort of prediction. Because in episode 1, the very first clip that we see is Kenshiro against Shin. Now, this is something that apparently they like doing in remakes, because they did that in the remake of Trigun and Samurai X Kenshin. Well, yeah, whatever the original title is to that. Rurouni Kenshin, yeah. And so I appreciated the classic, these 2 classic series, but I didn't watch the remakes because they do that in the beginning, so they did that here too. I'm not a fan of this. It's supposed to be a teaser, but in the classic series, when Kenshiro is finally against Shin, it's like after roughly 20 episodes, you're so excited, right? And now, well, I skipped this detail in episode 1, but now at the end of only episode 3, it's already it. And when in the classic series, in episode 22, Kenshiro is in front of Shin and goes, ah, right? In the classic series, I got the sensation. Here, I really, like, after 3 episodes, it's like Kenshiro is still an undeveloped dude. And we'll talk more about this in the next episode, but I wanted to mention this, and I'm going to quickly mention, so the visual aspect and the music, without going too much into detail. Well, let's start with the music. The music isn't, I just want to share my opinion in general. The music isn't bad. Well, it's not as good as in the classic series. Sometimes you have some epic sounds, to be honest, but it's pretty generic to me, so like when it's a desert, let's say, it's like oriental. Not sure about this. It seems pretty easy to me to do. Like in the classic series, you had those orchestral classical sounds, right? Now, we don't have those, unfortunately. But I guess it's fine, but it's, again, when you judge this remake as a remake and you compare it to the classic series, which I do, frankly, because we already have a Fist of the North Star anime, then I want to mention this. Now, let's talk about the visual aspect. So, I won't take too long. I will try to avoid saying generic things, because of course, I guess most people don't think it looks awesome, right? Here's what I want to say. I want to say 2 things, essentially, okay? Instead of just saying that it doesn't look good. The fight that I mentioned in this episode, in my opinion, looked pretty good. So there are some things that look pretty good, but then here are the 2 things I want to say. 1, some faces look so shallow and flat. And this is what I thought concerning Nin in episode 1. I skipped this detail, but now we get it again with Yuria, especially in the next episode. I mean, come on. And these 2, especially out of all characters, they have a flat and emotionless, shallow face. In episode 1, Nin is crying when Kenshiro leaves the village, and her face is so flat and shallow. And Yuria too. I'll talk more about Yuria in the next episode, I guess. But here's the most important thing I want to say in general about the visual aspect. Like, what's the problem? The problem is more than just CGI or 3D. Okay? It's like, oh, it's 3D and so on. Yeah, we know about this, but to me, the real problem is that it's not homogeneous. It's like a roller coaster. Well, just the opening sequence is enough to talk about this. I believe you see, when it's like the drop moment in the song, right? So Kenshiro is fighting, right? And then it's that typical 3D CGI with low FPS, because that's the thing. It's like it seems laggy, like he struggles to move. It's slow, right? I don't know whether people are conscious of this, but that's the problem. Yeah, it doesn't look good, but I mentioned the faces, but hey, you know what? I guess sometimes maybe it looks good, but it's like, it's slow, and I don't know why it's slow. I don't know the whole technique behind this, but anyway. But then, when it's Mamiya in the opening sequence, it's super fluid, super fast. And she's fighting like, and why Mamiya? Especially, why is it so fluid all of a sudden? So now it's going much faster, and then it's Rei, and it's again laggy, like low FPS or something. Is it about the male-female difference? Well, I don't think so. Well, what's going on? And then when there are special effects, the special effects are super fluid. It's like a roller coaster. It's like you're going slowly and then super fast and then it slows down. And then sometimes you have 2D. It's drawn. And so when they do that, of course, because I guess that's more difficult to do, the 3D is for when it's moving, so it's easier. And when it's drawn, it's like super fixed, so you stop. And then you see Kenshiro and Rao, and they're drawn. So that's the problem. Beyond the 3D, just the CGI problem, let's say, if you can, like, appreciate it somehow, it's like, it's not homogeneous. And that is a much bigger issue, in my opinion, because it makes it very difficult. It's like, you have nausea, you can't watch it. You're like, oh, you get tired watching an anime. So, I guess these are all the things I wanted to say concerning this episode.